greatest show on earth. If you become the greatest show on earth, that means you'd actually have to show up for yourself. That means that you'd actually have to be excited to be with yourself. Do you know how you can really piss off the majority? Walk around with a slight smile and your chin up. Okay? Most of them will be really pissed off. It's true. People that walk around with their shoulders back, their chin up, and a smile on, no matter what's going on, that really pisses the majority of the people off. I guarantee everybody in here has been pissed off at people that are having a good time. That's just your little tantrum. Most people are never ever going to have the life that they ever want. They're not. You'll get some of it, you know. It's like rolling the dice. Some days you get what you want, some days you don't get what you want. I'll tell you what I'm really done doing is starting my day off and planning everything, how it's going to go. All I have to do is stay connected. It's going in and out, guys. All I have to do is stay connected to my breath and put a slight smile on. I can have some kind of an image of the way the day should go, but if there's one way that you really want to ruin your day, is decide that it has to go that way. That is impossible. So unless you become the greatest show on earth to yourself, oh, well, wait a minute, that would mean that you can no longer feel needy. Oh, there you go. Well, that's not going to work. You've all been set up to be needy, yes or no? You know, it's either I need someone to love me or I don't want anyone to touch me. Oh God, make up your mind. I choose to be the writer of my story all the time as much as possible. I choose to be the writer. Did you get that? First of all, you got to make clear decisions. There is no system that's going to tell me what to do. There is no human being over top of me. There is no human being, there is no system that controls me. I figured this game out, and that even pisses a lot of other people off. Like, how does that make you feel if I said to you, well, you know, so yeah, we've got a system where we don't have to pay taxes anymore. And we're using the same system as these psychos use. Because you just got to do their path. And I'm not trying to sell this idea, but I'm trying to tell you, most people, they complain about taxes all their life, but they won't go to Puerto Rico and get a corporation and then only pay 4% tax after that. This is how people are, they just complain. Or buy 2 corporations and then guess what? Then you can be like the rich boys and then guess what? The tax you would have paid, only 4%, no more, can go to any organization that you deem that you want to help out. But then guess what? That'll piss a lot of people off. Oh, he isn't paying his taxes? Well, we all know it's a scam job. So you can't, in life, you can't worry about what the majority thinks about you. If you want to have a life down here, if you want to have a blockbuster movie, it's showtime. Every morning you wake up, it's like, it's showtime. And it is, because you're all bloody actors and a lot of you really suck at it. Because when you could act and become anything you want, you can be anything you want. Oh, we know that. Hey, guess what? I don't even have a gender anymore. You know, I can act and do anything I want and become anything I want. Because guess what? Governments and all the powers, so-called powers to be, want us all to look like we're mental. I mean, you just have to watch any TV, any soap opera, you have to watch any movies, and you can see that human beings are animals, okay? I mean, every love scene, we have to smash the table and go right through the wall. I mean, we just, when's the last time that you just, everything is up for grabs, and everything is a show, and it's all just a movie. You can buy into whatever you want to buy into. I choose to write my own story every day. I asked you what your chokehold was. Well, that's part of what's going to stop you from writing your story. Right? But you don't know what my life is like. You know, the reality is this, is you all run programs. If you, okay, calendar tracking, it's one of the Braveheart steps. If you were to calendar track yourself for 30 days, you would know you're insane. Now, why are you insane? You're insane because you didn't realize that you were running subconscious programs that were put in there by other people and other systems. And this is why you don't have the life that you want. And that's all it is. That's all it is. You have to take a major step. Who are you scared of? I'm not scared of anyone. You have to understand the reason why we're in the harvest period right now on this planet is because these psychos, right, that have been granted the keys to financial wealth on this planet forever. Forever. Did you get that? But that doesn't mean that you can't get yours. That doesn't mean that you can't be wealthy if you want on all levels. The game is good for everyone down here. It's just whether or not you can conceive it. Every one of you are having the exact feelings, the exact day that the story you tell yourself. You're not having anything less, nothing more. I'm a lonely actor. I can tell. I'm a depressed actor. There's no such thing. But you created enough anxiety in your life that you caused your brain to shut down. I'm an angry actor. I'm a middle child actor. Why do you brand yourself? And if you're going to brand yourself, why don't you give yourself a really great brand? So just know this, from 0 to 7, everybody else was writing your story. And just know this, 70 to 90% of all your dominant, prominent beliefs came from when you were 0 to 7. So that means that you're not yourself. So bullshit. 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 You're just the 5 prominent, dominant people that were with you from 0 to 7. Oh, you're lucky. Not lucky. Nobody gets lucky. You make lucky. How do you make lucky in your life? You change belief systems. Do you ever notice something? Do you ever notice some people, they believe they can make a lot of money and they aren't, I wouldn't call them smart, but they make money because they believe they can. The majority of the population can't make money because you've all been taught about poverty. Oh, and there's also a recession and a depression coming because everybody's telling everyone one's coming. So what do you do when you're told one's coming? You prepare for it. Well, what if I didn't want to prepare for it? I'm not preparing for it. So the reality is, even if the majority decides and deems that it's time for us to go into a depression, which they're going to, I'm not going to go into a depression. I'm going to make great money all the way through the depression. And I'm not going to make great money, okay, because of living off or stealing somebody's money. It's because I'm creating my own movie. I'm not going to create the movie that the majority are going to create. So you're the writer, and this is why I keep telling you, it doesn't matter. Just know this, chances are the older the story, the bigger the BS. The older the story. And you think because this story's been passed down through the generations, from family to family. This is precious. And it's probably toxic. Habits, rituals, do they work for you or are they working against you? I choose to write mine. I'm going to write my own. But then you can't take anything personal, and you got to get to a point you don't need anybody's approval if you want your own movie, eh? But then you won't do that because you're so desperate. You're either desperate for love or you're desperate you're going to get a punch in the face. How does it feel to walk around in fear and feel threatened by systems, by people? The people you love, you feel threatened by. I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to calendar track with the people, maybe just the 3 or 4 people closest to you, and calendar track for 33 days, and you're going to find out that you all push each other's pain buttons. What if you were to push each other's love buttons, and you stop pushing each other's pain buttons? What would happen? So life is a movie, is it or isn't it? First of all, you cannot have a thought without an image. So everybody here, what I just said, has a different thought about what I just said. No one here is exactly the same. Because you're creating different images because you all have different belief systems which are your filter. I could say the most outrageous thing, and if you were looking for outrageous, you'd go, yeah, I believe that. And then somebody else just go, I don't believe that at all. And it's always going to be like that. First thing you got to do to really get along on this planet, to get along, to thrive, is don't want to be right. Don't want to be right. That's the first thing. Be willing to adapt. Be willing to change. So, we got to rewrite our story. You know, we'll all take a walk. We could take a walk over here to the shopping area, walk around, take the same length of time, walk the same area. And I guarantee you, we're all going to notice different things. Did you ever notice something? This is the way it always goes for me, and then it always goes like that. Nobody loves me. It's so hard to find a job. I've always had terrible digestion. Everything is epigenetic. There is no genetic diseases. Sorry, there isn't. And I'm not sorry, thank God. Because the reason why they wanted you to believe that there was genetic diseases is because it's out of my control. Now you can become a victim. You don't have to be the hero that saves the day, that actually takes responsibility for your body. So we see everything in an image first. And then the image creates a thought. Every word, every thought creates an emotion. So that means that if I hate my life, if I hate something about my life, or I hate a group of people, or how about this one? Here's a powerful one. I hate chemtrails. Cool. You don't understand that if it wasn't chemtrails, it would be 5G. You're a hater. You got to have your hate cup filled. So the only way that you can change a movie is to actually be conscious. The only way you can be conscious is to practice being conscious. 3, 2, 1, I got this. Love band. Snapping back into the present moment. Snug as a hug because I love myself. I'm going to kiss myself in public. I'm going to kiss myself everywhere. I'm going to snap back to the present moment. I don't even have to do it anymore. Just this, wearing this, and when my eyes pick this up, sheriff in town, new sheriff in town, new sheriff in town, love, protect, honor, respect, new sheriff in town. Unless you're going to do something 10,000 times with so much emotion, so much passion, you don't own it, you never will. Think about the things that run your life. They drove them into you, didn't they? And then they got everybody who loved you, drive them into you too. So, image creates a thought. Thought creates what? An emotion. Energy in motion, which creates a frequency, which then releases chemicals or hormones or both. And it does it at the speed of light. Why? Because we're light energy beings. Isn't that something? Somebody says something, you feel your hair stand up all over your body instantaneously. And to have that happen means that the message had to go to the brain to dump the chemicals and have it there. And how fast was it there? Less than a split second. So here's the problem. If we can have visions of things that are based on love, but even more self-love, self-care, we're only dumping the good chemicals. Whether you believe it or not, we human beings, because they are emotional, they're highly addictive beings. Addictive. You're either going to be addictive to joy, self-care, self-love, where you can't endanger yourself or anyone else and have a pleasurable life. And if you don't do that, it's going to be really bumpy. Now I want you to picture, honestly, your heart. Now remember what the heart is. The heart's a muscle, but it's a recorder. This is true. Every love relationship you've ever had has been recorded in your heart. Now what if it wasn't a happy ending? Well, that's why heart disease is the main killer. Hearts don't get cancer, but people are dying and having heart attacks all the time. How many people know that over 90% of the people that get rushed to the hospital with a heart attack, it's just a fart attack, and it's just anxiety of not being loved or not loving themselves? You didn't know that, did you? This whole world is just made up of so many stories that just distract us from the reality of everything. The highest vibrating part of your body is your heart. They don't know how far out vibration goes, and I'm telling you, it goes out to everyone with your heart. Your bacteria are the most intelligent part of a human being on a physical level, not the brain. The bacteria talk to the brain 9 times, and the brain only talks to the gut once for every 9 times. It's bringing all the information in, but what if you had bad bacteria? Then you'd have bad information going to the brain, and that's called gut-brain disconnection. And it's not the gut, it's the large intestine. Did you notice we asked some people here, and it's some of them, you know, it's been a real struggle, but I'm working on it. The reality is we have the ability to have an image to totally flip everything inside out and upside down in a New York second. We don't have to go through years of misery. We attach our suffering, okay? There's a different attachment of suffering on everything. And depending on who raised you is your attachment to the suffering. It's got nothing else to do with it. You're going around kicking the living crap out of yourself. Nobody sees why or understands why, but you're just on autopilot with your subconscious fulfilling the family curse or the family blessing. Watch how people that you're close to, you trigger each other. Watch how you trigger the same fights and arguments all the time. And that's because everything is working from the subconscious. If you could be in the conscious mind, you can create new things and have new things. If you're not in the conscious mind, you're not going to have it. So you're going to run the same movie all the time. So you're the writer, you're the director, you're the producer, you're the leading star. Tell me who else is. Okay, you had a shitty day? Well, who's in charge of that? Yeah, but if everybody else would have done what they were supposed to do, then I... Okay, so do you want to know where your emotional health is at? When your life is falling apart around you, the people around you are falling apart, and all hell is breaking loose, you will then know where your emotional health is. Is it okay, even though you're breaking down and screaming right now, if I just choose to be calm? No, it isn't. If I was your family member, might even get slapped if I don't suffer along with you or buy into your trauma drama. So what if I don't want to buy into that movie anymore? What if I realize that you're just running a movie trying to kill yourself? Don't worry though, that's not going to happen much, because you're usually going to find a partner that'll suffer and kill themselves with you, because we're all programmed to do it. And that's the God's truth, and you know it. So it's always going to be like this. Action, reaction, action, reaction. Why not action? And whether you believe it or not, all partnerships, like marriages, I mean, seriously, I was never into the fighting thing. Or the holding out. No, you did this to me and you'll be punished for another week. That stuff made no sense. I'd get up in the morning, I'd go and say to my wife, I'd say, "Good morning, I love you." "Nope, don't start. You know what you did." "What did I do?" "There you go. Oop, that's it." And I'm not putting her down. She was running a program that if she believed I did something, then I got to be punished for usually 5 days to 10. Quiet. You look after the kids. You do this. That's your punishment. And believe it or not, maybe I was just numbed right out, but I most of the time I didn't know why. How many of you were raised that it's normal for couples to fight? All of us. Don't give me the crap. Lori and I don't fight, and it's not that we don't fight because we're so broken. It's not that we don't fight because we think we're going to kill each other. There's just no reason to fight. It's all about the fight, isn't it? Why don't you tell me a war that's going on right now that's actually going on for that reason that they tell us? Why don't you tell me when it's justifiable that we kill people? It was just time for the United States to sell a lot of weapons to a country. That's all that was. And that's all that's going on right now. Why do we fight? I guarantee you, you all have the same fights with your family. How insane is that? Until you can, what? Create a different image. Right? Oh, she's a BI, you know what? Huh? No, she's not. She is in survival mode. He is in survival mode. They're in a movie where they're terrifying themselves and feeling terrified by the world. Just think if I were to watch all the news things and tell everyone, what did you find out today? What's going on in the world today? What if I did that? Well, I would have insomnia. Mind your own business. Create your own movie. All the leaders of the world, they're not leaders, okay? Well, they're not leaders. They're toxic psychos. The reality is, okay, how many here like playing PlayStation, or you have kids that play PlayStation and they love it? They love the challenge. Believe it or not, your spirit came here for the challenge. Your spirit came here for the challenge. Has anybody watched my conversation with God that I made up? Okay, I made up a conversation with God. You know, we're hanging out on a cloud, because that's what you do when you go to heaven. You just hang out for eternity. And I'm not sure what you do. I think you play Scrabble. But the reality is that I'm hanging out with God, and I see this planet, and I go, wow, that's a beautiful planet. And God says, well, you better think it over. You know, it's pretty. Okay, there's enough food, there's enough love. What's love? Because, you know, being a spirit being, you don't need to know what love is, because that's all it is. It's being, you know, down there they have what's called conditional love, but that's all anybody knows. What does that mean? Well, it's like this: 1 minute they love you, 1 minute they don't. Okay, and the reality is when you go there, you come in as love, and then you get conditioned. And then guess what? You run around starving for love, trying to get love from everyone else that's starving their whole life. And only 1 out of 10,000 ever wake up to this. And people really, you know, there's a whole elite group down there, and we've given the keys to them. What? When you gave the keys to them? Oh yeah, because that makes the game. And the thing is there's only about 100, maybe 100 right now, 100,000 of the bad guys like that, and there's 8 billion of these, what we call ants, allowing negative thoughts, because they act like ants. And the reality is guess what? They don't stand up for themselves. They just walk around bitching and complaining, and then watching this BS. It's called BS, and it's on TV, and it comes out of people's mouths, and their whole life is, don't need your approval to have a beautiful day and put a smile on, connect to my breath. And I don't need your approval when you come up to me and go, I can't, and I go, okay, just take it easy here. I will never buy into another trauma drama. Doesn't matter if it's my children or any relative or my best friend. I will not. And the rest of you, you know what you do? When somebody's sick and ill, or there's some trauma, you got to look all invested. Got to look all invested. Oh, got to get invested. And whoever's invested the most loves the most. And then everybody, they give that person the honor badge. That's called the super caretaker that's totally exhausted, and she probably hates her life, because it's mainly her. She hates her life, but the only way she gets recognition is going around saving all the victims in the home. I'm not your leader, and I'm not your hero. It's your movie, and you should be picking a good one. You shouldn't be picking this sad love story that you tell, or this fearful one where the world's going to end, or you're going to get some disease because it runs in your family, okay? The only thing that runs in your family is the feet that everybody have. That's about it. Everything is a lie. And that's why this is actually a slave planet, okay? But I do not feel like a slave down here. There's certain rules to every game in the universe. And I've thrown them all out. That's why I get in trouble. So, I choose to be the hero of my story. I choose to be, you know, just at the end. I mean, everybody, come on guys. Do you like a movie, okay, where you go, and it moves so slow and nothing's going on and you're just about to fall asleep or you're going, this is a waste of time. You want a movie that you're on the edge of the seat going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then at the end, ah. Okay, so we want that all day long. And there can only be one hero, and that's got to be you. No one's coming to save you. So let's just go through this. So image creates a thought. Thought creates an emotion. We are energy motion beings. We're nothing more than that. And guess what? I guarantee that if I try to, just for fun, but I shouldn't do it, I could piss every one of you off before the end of the day. Just know how to go in and push your buttons. And believe it or not, what you've done in every relationship is you have set each other up to push each other's pain buttons, to remember, to help each other, to remind yourself how painful your story is, how painful your movie is. Yes or no? So when people go, did you hear about this? Most people think, oh my God, he's cold, he's heartless. Well, for one thing, it's not even true what you're saying, but you bought into it. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? How's it feel to have all these temper tantrums? How's it feel to get yourself all worked up? You're going to blow. So let's just understand that all you guys are doing is running the movies for the psychos. That's all you're doing. Isn't that nice? Who has a chokehold on religion? They do. Who has a chokehold on finances? They do. Who has a chokehold on you and your mind? They do. But not, they wouldn't if you said, I'm just going to write my own story. You know, you have to find your inner dependence, inner dependence. That's what you need. There's nobody over top of me, and you can say that's not true. No, there isn't. There's no government after me. There's no government going to tell me what to do. If I have unconditional love for myself and everyone else, how many rules am I breaking? I don't need to know their rules. I only need to know that. I don't need to know their rules. I don't need to know what the speed limit is. I'm going to travel that road that I enjoy it. Thank you very much. I don't need anybody's rules. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. Because if you live in harmony, if you're in alignment with loving yourself and your 50 trillion cells, your 500 trillion bacteria, then you're not doing anything wrong except pissing the majority off because they don't like the way you do your movie. Don't tell me that you weren't pissed off at somebody who you thought they had it easy. Everything comes easy to her. Everything comes easy to him. No, it's their mind. They're creating it in their sleep. They're creating it when they're walking, when they're talking. Okay, and that's just you and your little petty jealous stuff. And it's going to lock you into that and ruin you. When I see somebody that is doing something or has something that I want, I observe and go, how do I get it? Because there's enough of everything on this planet. Guys, they're always going to tell you, I mean, please, it's just like every year there's this vitamin C, or next year it's vitamin E, okay? And this year there's not enough water for drinking. There's not enough air for breathing. There's not enough room. Are we like out of our heads? We throw 50 to 60% of the food away in restaurants every day and in grocery stores. It goes in the garbage. We have enough of everything. Okay, here's the deal, but here's the problem. These same psychos that say that we're polluting the planet and that we are the infection, they're the ones who wrote the story. They're the ones that put the guilt onto us. My God, they'll have us recycling, and then we go and we do all this recycling stuff, and then they throw it all in the dump in the same pile. I mean, stop. Just stop. And anyways, the way I live, I don't cause any garbage. Very little. So here we go. It's a movie. Just as fast as you could change the channel on your TV. If you wanted to, you could change your whole life. Everybody says here, you know, it's been what somebody said yesterday, well, I've been working on it for a few years now, it's coming. Oh, really? Really? Bam! Okay, let me see, I really screwed up there. Now, let's see. How am I going to look at this, and how am I going to deal with this, and how can I, well, I'm going to observe it. I'm not going to judge it. I'm going to see where I could do better. Did I harm someone? Apologize with your heart. No, I didn't harm anyone. So how did I piss all those people off? Oh, I wasn't like them. They're not getting an apology, but guess what? I'll love them anyway, and I'm going to stay away from them. Yeah, but they're family. I'm staying away from them. Did you just get that? No. But you go ahead. Most of you, even though you can't get along with something, or we're family, you go in you have this routine. And you might be there for a few hours, and then it takes you days to get yourself back to normal. Now, talk about dishonor, disrespect. Talk about writing a crappy movie. And nobody's ever going to guilt me. And if you tried to guilt me, I would just go, no, guilt's not working. You got to move on. Next person. Move on. Move on. And then you got to guilt yourself, because guess what? If the people that used to guilt you aren't around, then you've got to do a self-serve guilt. And you're good at that. You're the queen. Yes. And you need to stop it. You need to be loving and kind and sweet to yourself, because it's not true. The stories you tell yourself, they're not even true. And you know they're bullshit, but she's trying to honor dishonoring beliefs and programs that she was given as a little girl. Because you know why? She said, I'll be a good little girl, even though both of my parents are adulterated and kind of psycho. I love it down here. I think it's great. I wouldn't change it. You know, the thing about me is I was talking to Jeffrey and Mindy and Lori and Sage, and I just said we just got to watch out, because every time we have this imaginative idea, we go and we major things going on right now. Just think I'm like, woo, psycho. But that's when you stay totally calm, and it just gets all done. It just happens to get all done. I can stress out, or it just gets all done. So you have the body you have the health you have the wealth you have the relationships you have, only based on one thing: the image you have for yourself. That's it. And you know as well as I know, come on, the family gets together and go, well, you know, that's Tommy, that's who he is. I mean, none of us give any thought to anything. We think that somebody's personality is who they are. That's not who they are. People aren't bad, but they have bad beliefs. They can have bad beliefs. That's Tommy, you know. Well, that's because Tommy doesn't respect himself, because he believes no one else does either. Because Tommy has been trained to be unworthy. So now Tommy will be unworthy for the rest of his life, and it'll be an unworthy movie. If the movie had a title, it would be Unworthy. What would your title of your movie be today? Confused? I don't know? Pain? Lonely? I need to control everyone and everything? When you're out of control, you'll try to control everyone around you. When you're out of control. So it's just a movie. And you're the main actor. You're the main actress. And we've joined you for your movie. Now, if you're the writer, and you're the producer, and you're the director, you're going to have to give some people direction. And if they don't want to act a certain way in your movie, and it's offensive or abusive, you cut them out of the story. How's that? And then you write in new players that are loving and kind to themselves, because if they're not, you're not going to get it from them. You rewrite your story. Oh, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Most of you will continue to complain, but you won't jump off the pain train. You'll feel obligated. Like, what's your obligation of suffering with your family? Andreas? Pretty big? See, most people look at me and go, because we never give anything any thought. You actually believe that your personality's in cement, and that, you know, before you got here, it was gifted to you. No, it wasn't. It was force-fed into you. So let's make that perfectly clear. Never label yourself. Don't give yourself ever a label. I am a light energy spirit being, okay, on a life-threatening adventure called Planet Earth. Thank you very much. But it's fun-filled too, when I realize that I'm the one to write my story in this movie. Would you have all wished to go somewhere where we're all the same color? We all speak the same language, okay? We all eat the same food, and we all talk about the same things? How interesting would that have been? But don't worry, for most of you, I guarantee that you did not like every color human. I can remember by the time I was a teenager, I didn't know why, but I did not like East Indian people, right? And there was East Indian people living above us, and I could smell their curry, and every time I'd smell it, I would just, oh, I hate East Indian people. I mean, seriously, well, what kind of person thinks like this? Oh, almost everybody. A present moment is 1/10,000th of a second. If you can master being in the present moment long enough and strong enough, you can create any dominant, prominent belief. It takes you 9 months after doing like a course like this and going deep and holding the line. You have to hold the line. Christian, come on up here. Christian is our host for Croatia, and he came over with his family, right?
Yes.
And it wasn't easy. They don't get paid a lot of money there. He basically had to spend almost everything he's got to be here.
Everything.
Everything. And the reality is he's going to have everything because he risked. And then guess what? To risk this and to spend everything they have to come here, guess what? The hardest job was selling this movie to the rest of his family that didn't want to buy into it because it's his movie. Yes or no? Can we get a mic here? He already has laryngitis from traveling. Here you go.
Yeah.
So.
It's right, but the most important thing in my life, it's myself, my happiness, my freedom. So if I had $1 million, I will spend it on myself.
So here's the deal though, he came and took the full course before, right?
Yeah, last January.
How hard is it to go home and even though the people love you with all their heart, all their heart. I would die for you. Okay? I don't want anybody dying for me. I can't live without you, Daryl. Holy crap. Get the Nikes on and run, buddy. Okay? So even though his family loves him with all their heart, okay, how hard was it to keep what you learned here when you went home with your family? Keep it close to your mouth if you can.
To be honest, it was not too hard. One thing that I did when I was here in one of the meditation, I feel something deeply in my heart that I need to cut all the connection with my family, especially this time with my partner and my son that was 1.5 years old, and they are very attached to it.
You mean while you were here?
Yeah.
You had to cut yourself.
Yes.
And understand something. He was doing it, and that was actually the gift he was giving them.
I did it in a split of a second. I felt it, okay, I imagine, I see a picture of myself, my son, my wife, and just cut it. And then after what I did, it was good or not, the subconscious.
Yeah, well, all he was doing was trying to make some space between him and his family so he could get clarity.
Yeah, because you cannot be free completely even if you have the tiniest connection with somebody and if you are dependent.
Did you hear that? I can't live without you. You didn't call me. I was so worried. Why do you terrorize your family like that? Every time you go to school, mommy worries. Please call me. Please let me know. I need to know what's going on. That person is a terrorist. They have no life at all. They have no life.
I want to tell the whole story, how it's going. So when I did this, the same evening, when I called my partner, she was pissed off because we are very connected. She's very sensitive and she feels things that I do, even if I'm 1,000 miles away. And she was angry, pissed off. What are you doing? I'm feeling something. You're loving just yourself. You don't love us, and this and that. And my heart was completely open, and now starting to shrink. No, I don't know. I don't want this. I want unconditional love. I want to be open. And it lasted like 3 days. She was mad, don't want to speak with me. She was crying. And after 3 days, she realized that she never loved herself.
Bam! Now, I want to say something. Did you get goosebumps? Let me tell you something. This is what I try to do for you. And it's not me trying to be a hero, but I have to hold the line here and risk that you're not going to like me. He had to hold the line and risk that his wife would not like him because we're trying to give a gift to help free her up. What if we were both independent but together? What if we weren't sucking off each other? What if we weren't parasites anymore? What if I wasn't responsible in filling up her heart or his heart, and he wasn't responsible in filling up my heart? What if we filled our own hearts completely and we come together and we become this light?
So she get in complete fear mode. She felt like she is losing myself, my love. And when I came back, we speak, and she said it was the same feeling like her father passed away, the same pain. This is what I did. With my imagination, in a split of a second, she felt it physically.
Yeah, but guess what? That was suppressed in her. And then she had the fear that he would leave her or die. And that's what she just said. I've always had since my father passed on, I've always felt that you were going to leave me or die and leave me. You either do the work or create an atomic bomb inside yourself.
And the hardest part for me was the cutting the connection with my small son, because when they are small, they are so sweet and you get attached easily because it's
Yeah, and don't
nature.
get me wrong, that was only during the course. It's not like you said, well, this is it, I'm gone. That's not what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
and nothing changed. This is what I did to allow my son to grow up freely, not with my, you must do this, you must do that. That was the meaning. He is a free spirit, he knows maybe more than I do, and we must allow them to grow up
Yeah.
in their way.
So he was allowing, you've got to let people work with it. Problem is we've got so many caretakers in here that nobody will get to grow. You're all looking for something limping so that you can help it out. Meanwhile, did you ever notice with most of your family, your close friends, you know in your gut when it's time to move in, and 99 out of 100 times, every time you stick your nose in, you cause more trouble. But this is because of you wanting to be needed because you don't love yourself. So then you distract, and that's what we do. Did you ever notice that everybody's rushing to everyone's aid and nobody's getting better out there? It's an inside job. So, are we going to have a great course?
The best one, because
When
I
am I
will be
in?
your host.
That's right. When am I in Croatia?
September 18th till October the 13th.
There. And then I think we start with the Braveheart Health and Healing Circle, then the Whole Life Coach, then the Wolf Non-Surgical course, and then the Pelvic Restoration course.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. And it's someplace beautiful, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It's in Porridge, Croatia, on the Adriatic Sea.
Yeah, we have it tough.
We like the sea.
And then after that, we go to Australia. Yeah, so,
We don't have kangaroos, but it's nice.
yeah. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right. That's it right there. Are you going to rewrite the story continually? You know, I think the most important thing that you can do is to sit down with the people close to you and your family and be honest. And the honesty is this. Would you stop me if I tried to unconditionally love myself? First of all, we're going to go, what the heck are you talking about? Think about it. They're not even going to know what you're talking about. So that's why the world is never ever going to change. Only you can change. Did you get that? Are you going to get this, that the world's not going to change? There's nobody coming to save the world. And I'm not poking at anybody with their religious beliefs. I hope it all works out for them. But for now, I haven't seen it happen. So let's just say that you have to be the hero of your story. Okay? How long is it going to take for you to start rewriting it completely? There was a few people here who said, oh, it's, you know, I've been following for 2 years and it's been a real struggle. You see the way we talk? I'm not saying you won't struggle, but don't talk like this. Okay? Yeah, but it's true. Yeah, but no. What's true is the way you talk. Yeah, but if I say something else and I act positive, I'd be lying right now because I'm not feeling that way. Yeah, but you're not going to feel that way unless you talk that way. Oh. So they will come on the news, the media, and everyone else, and do they always come on with drama, trauma? It's the end of the world. Jesus, God, let's just get it over with. Okay? And the reality is this, You'll buy into that, but you won't buy into telling yourself a beautiful self-love story. You won't do it, will you? And that's why human beings will always be slaves on this planet. So just get it. I don't care what kind of money you spend, what kind of courses you take, unless it's about self-love and self-care. And if you don't want to buy into that, guess what? You'll have some good periods, you'll have some bad ones. You'll continually keep having the bumpiest road of your life. And all you got to do is just bring the whole family together and go, look it. This isn't some kind of weird thing, this is my thing. I'm not going to love anybody less, I'm going to love them better. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to love you more. Really. It's just some kind of gas tank just filling up everybody's heart. I'm not going to love anybody more, I'm going to love people better. Why can't we do that? God, I wish he'd love me more. No, you want him to love you better. But he can't do that until he loves himself better. So guess what? You'll tell your family this if you want and your close friends. You're going to see not strange behavior, but different behavior from me. What does that mean? Well, you'll see it. You'll think maybe your mind will say, I'm pulling away from you, our friendship or our love, or it's nothing to do with that. I'm trying to reshape my brain to get myself off the guilt train, the pain train, the fear pain, the doubt pain, the worry pain train, the whole thing. I want to learn how to unconditionally love myself, and it's going to take work. And guess what? Just like you want to go and learn ballet, I want to do this. Well, I'd rather you did ballet than unconditional love for yourself, because maybe you'll find out you don't need me. And that's what goes on in their mind. And they may even say, you go right ahead and do this unconditional love thing and try to discover yourself, weirdo. And guess what? They'll say it's fine, go ahead, do whatever you want. And guess what? Within 10 days into it, you're going to have pushback. 6 weeks, 3 months, now you see that they're bringing in reinforcements, the rest of the family and friends. You think I'm kidding? And all you got to do the whole time, every time, you just do one thing. I can tell that you're all full of fear, but try to relax. Because I'm not going off this path. I need to learn how to love and care for myself so I can do a better job with everyone else here. You just can't see it yet. Remember, anything I do for me, I'm giving to the world. Whether it's a negative belief or a positive belief. And let me just say this, family, before you decide to knock the legs out of me, who am I going to hurt by learning how to love myself totally? Does that mean I'm going to love you less? Or I could become more considerate and caring? People don't get this. They're so far from this. Just do it anyway. What? There. How's that? I don't see, do you hear it? Reverb? No. No, it's okay. So anyways, let's end it with this, okay? All right? No one has any control over you. You're just out of control. That's your movie. And you'll always be out of control when you're not in alignment. And alignment is unconditional love. That's it. One law, one love. That's it, guys. I didn't make that up. That's the rule of the universe. So I guess now you got to create your own Universal Studios. And you got to create your own movie and tell your own story. So why don't you retell the story? And you need to go back and you need to retell a story with your parents and the people that you think tried to kill you or that hate you, you think hate you. Remember something, whether you believe it or not, these people that will actually join the armed forces and go over and murder think that they actually need to do it to protect the people in their country. Remember something. We're very lucky and very fortunate that COVID killed every terrorist in the world. When COVID came, all the terrorists died of COVID because there's been no terrorism. So we got easy off on that one, okay? So understand something, there's always going to be something that they're going to create. Don't you know that's their movie? They're in charge of fear. Monsters, Inc. was not a movie. Every time that you become fearful, you feed this evil entity that is allowed to reside on this planet. Seriously. Think about it. There might be 150,000 of them and there's 8 billion of us and we can't seem to get our act together. And meanwhile, we're all actors. And we're acting for them. They invited us into their horror story and we actually think that, and we took that as our movie. The medical system has nothing to do with my movie. The government has nothing to do with my movie. COVID has nothing to do with my movie. Climate change has nothing to do with my movie. Making good choices is my movie. Loving the present moment and owning it. Not being a trauma queen. Upsetting myself and others. When I do have a negative feeling, I put a slight smile on right away. What do? You pout. You get angry. When you have a negative feeling come in or something, if you were to put a slight smile, you would be able to observe and process it and move on. All you need is for somebody, a smell, a word, a certain look to trigger you on some trauma event, and it could send you spinning for hours, days, or years. Yes or no? Welcome to the movies. Everybody take a 10-minute break and then we'll come on back, okay? Thank you.